right, Brianna, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Brooke Baldwin. You're watching CNN. We are following news out of Berlin, where police now say they arrested the wrong suspect. And now this manhunt is underway after that truck plowed through a crowd of shoppers at a busy Christmas market just about 24 hours ago. In the end, 12 people were killed, dozens more injured. Police did take someone into custody, but as we mentioned in a shocking admission today, it was the wrong guy. They revealed they had the wrong person in custody. It's actually not the driver. So this person has been set free. This means, of course, that the killer behind this chilling rampage is at large. The attack happened right around 8 o'clock Berlin time, so precisely this time yesterday. That tractor trailer dragging some people here as far as 80 feet. Let's begin in Berlin. CNN's Aaron McLaughlin is there live. Begin with how they got the wrong guy, and there was also a body in that truck.
Hi, Brooke. Well, authorities now saying that it seems as though they arrested the wrong person, and they're citing a lack of forensic evidence that was found inside that truck cabin. They said essentially there's no forensic evidence at the moment tying the suspect to the truck itself. Now, this particular individual was arrested in the wake of the attack. He was arrested about a mile and a half away, described by authorities as an asylum seeker, probably, they said, from Pakistan. He's believed to have entered Germany December 31st, 2015. The entire time, though, he said that denied any involvement in the attack, and now it seems the evidence really backing that up. So that leaves authorities with any number of questions. They're saying they're looking at any and all possibilities, a possibility there could be one or more attackers involved, potential for accomplices as well. And they're urging people, members of the public, to remain vigilant and on the lookout.
All right, Aaron, thank you so much. With me now, someone who witnessed this horrific attack, streamed this video of the aftermath and the confusion live on Facebook. He is Jan Holitzer, who joins me now. Jan, thank you so much for being with me. First, just take me, it was this time yesterday when this truck plowed through all those revelers at that market. Where were you?
Hi, I was finishing my work and was on my way back home, and I passed the Christmas market on the other side of the street. And then I heard a big noise. The truck smashed the small booth on the market, and I could hear screams, and then I saw the truck came out of the market again on the street.
I can't imagine the screams, the crowds, the kids. What did you then do?
I don't know about kids. I haven't seen kids. Yeah, I was shocked like the other people around. And yeah, you in the first moment you don't realize that this could be an attack, maybe an accident. Then in the other second you have the pictures in mind of Nice this year. It was also a lorry and a crowd, and in Berlin it was a lorry and a crowd, and then you realize slowly that it could be also an attack.
I understand you had a friend and a colleague in Nice, and so that was part of, a journalistic instinct, pull out the camera and obviously very carefully, not showing certain faces, document what you were seeing. I want to go back though, Jan, to the news that law enforcement apparently had the wrong person, and it's essentially back to square one.
Yeah, that's right, and it's really scaring that the driver of the truck is out there in Berlin.
It is scary. Jan, thank you so much. I want to begin there with my panel. Joining me now, Michael Weiss, CNN contributor and co-author of ISIS Inside the Army of Terror, and Juliette Kayyem, CNN national security analyst and former Homeland Security Assistant Secretary. So great to have both of you on. And I mean, just in the last little bit, Juliette, we've just learned again that law enforcement, they've let who they thought was the driver go because of forensics or a lack of a match. It's Europe. You hop a train, you're gone. I'm just wondering how they find this person. Walk me through a manhunt.
Okay, so, well, what they have now and what they only have now is eyewitness accounts. So at this stage, unlike last night, they're going to have to go back, talk to individuals who may have seen the driver. What was his race? What was his ethnicity? What did he look like? Was there one or two? Look at video cameras that may be on buildings and iPhones and everything else that might give you a visual of who this person is, and then you figure out where he might have gone. So it appears, just as compared to last night, and this is why we have to wait as the facts unfold, that the dead passenger may very well likely be the original driver who his employer, remember last night, was saying, I had lost contact with him.
Right.
So this is where the investigation goes. Eyewitness accounts, digital footprints, video cameras, and forensics, and it's a manhunt.
And so, Michael, it's, was this person working alone? Was there a small network? Was this part of a cell? How far could this person have gotten? What questions are you asking?
Yeah, those. And I mean, look, if it was the driver who was working for this Polish truck company,
yeah.
I mean, this is a guy who then crossed the border from a foreign country into Berlin, premeditated clearly, and then, got killed in the process of committing this act of mass murder. If it's not, then, as I said yesterday, there's a level of operational security and sophistication here, because that means there's an unknown assailant running around who took the decision, not only am I going to wage an act of mass murder, but I'm going to hijack a truck, and not just any truck, but a truck with 25 tons of steel in it,
right.
So it's a battering ram of a vehicle, and kill the driver of the truck. I mean, so he will have had to have surveilled the truck and, found a way to take it over, and then, plow into a bunch of people. That doesn't seem to me like some random, crazy, self-radicalized agent to me. That would suggest a level of planning, a level of, coordination. Again, it's too soon to tell. And
we know they're investigating as a terrorist attack.
They are.
Obviously, it's way too soon to know definitively.
And nobody has claimed credit.
Right.
I mean, there have been false allegations.
But that doesn't always match.
Doesn't always match, and sometimes it does take. Hey, I mean, there have been Al Qaeda attacks that have taken weeks, if not months, until they've come out and accepted credit for it. But yeah, something about this now, and the fact that they got the wrong guy, let him go, it's a little worrisome.
Juliet, what do you think? The way the attack was carried out, what does that say to you?
Well, I agree with Michael. I mean, look, it's not crazy to think that this is tied to ISIS or a terrorist organization, just simply because of the MO reflects what we saw in Nice and some of the writings of ISIS and others. Exactly. But now what we don't want is we don't want German officials or even Interpol officials to be only looking in one direction, because when that happens, they may miss the forest. And so this is why, we're sort of at ground zero in terms of an investigation, because you don't have, it appears that they just have no idea who it is. And this is disconcerting for not just the other European countries, but obviously here in the United States, where we're entering a really busy week with the holidays and a lot of mass gatherings, and sort of what should be our positioning vis-a-vis whether this is a random thing or if this is part of an onslaught of attacks like this.
We're going to talk in a minute about what's happening just sort of on the domestic front in the wake of what happened in Berlin. But last question to you, Michael, big picture, and by no means am I inferring these are at all related, but I think it's noteworthy.
Yeah.
You have what happened there. You have the gunman in Turkey, right, who takes down and assassinates that ambassador, yelling, "Do not forget Aleppo." In Zurich, a gunman shot up a mosque. 52 soldiers were killed in a suicide bombing in Yemen, ISIS claiming responsibility there, and another series of deadly shootings in Jordan. Again, they're not all connected, but what's happening?
Well, they're not all connected, but they are. There's something in the air now, and the loss of Aleppo. I mean, you have to understand, this is an ancient Sunni Arab city. The fall of it to the Assad regime, but really to Iranian-built Shia militia groups and death squads backed by Russian air power, and, if the Wall Street Journal is to be believed, Russian special forces on the ground. This is going to be a rallying cry for a whole new generation of Sunni jihadists. There are going to be kids growing up looking to exact revenge for the fall of Aleppo. And it behooves an organization, my co-author Hassan and I wrote an article about this, that the fall of Aleppo had nothing to do with ISIS, and yet it's the greatest gift to ISIS. Because now they can say, look, our critics have always accused us, whenever we blow into town or we take over a city or a population center, we reap nothing but devastation and mayhem upon that city. The coalition bombs us, the regime bombs us. ISIS was nowhere in Aleppo, and it was still a Sunni city that fell, and it fell to the enemy. So there's a fever pitch of sectarianism in the Middle East, and it's going to lead to people becoming radicalized, people imbibing the ISIS and Al-Qaeda ideology, and people wanting to conduct acts like this. And, you know, the most important thing, even though the U.S. didn't bomb Aleppo, in the ISIS conspiratorial matrix, we are just as guilty as Russia and Iran and Bashar al-Assad. Never forget that. That is part of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi's sort of grand narrative. It's the U.S. and Russia backed by Iran and all the Shia. That's painting a target on all of those entities' backs, frankly.
Thank you. We're going to talk about that assassination in a couple of minutes, but for now, thank you so much.
Sure.
Michael Weiss, Julia Kayyem, in New York City. Police are stepping up security. NYPD now moving highly trained teams to a number of high-profile locations around the city. Let's go to Bryn Gingras, who can explain, Bryn, when we say, you know, heightened security measures, and of course it's a busy holiday time in New York, what do they mean? What are they doing?
Well, certainly, Brooke, in New York, the NYPD has this city covered. I mean, there's always sort of a heightened security here, but certainly they sort of move around their units to make sure that certain areas have more security, like the Christmas markets, one of which we are standing in front of. There are about a half a dozen around the city that we're seeing heavily armed, highly trained officers, part of those counterterrorism units here with their presence shown. Now, of course, you're not seeing them right now. We have video for your viewers, but I can tell you that's the point. According to the NYPD, they are scattering around, being unpredictable so that there's no pattern, really, that a terrorist or potential terrorist could follow. But let me show you this. You can see the NYPD cars, Brooke. They are also just parked around Columbus Circle where this particular market is. And that's really just a barrier. That's another form, another layer of protection that the NYPD takes. And I witnessed it for myself, Brooke. About an hour ago, there was a van who actually came up to this part of the circle. It parked right here. It really didn't have any markings on it. And those counterterrorism officers went right over to that van and said, "You can't park here. What are you doing here?" And asked a lot of questions, made sure that he moved that van immediately. So they do take action. We've also seen those officers going through the market, talking to patrons, talking to vendors, asking questions exactly, you know, what to be on the lookout for as they keep a watchful eye. It's important, Brooke, though, we should note the NYPD says at this point, though, there was no credible threat against New York City, Brooke.
NYPD, they don't mess around. Bryn Gingras, thank you very much. Coming up next,